Welcome back to AI Governance Pro Channel. Today I'm going to give you 10 free real AAIA exam-style questions. Answer them in your head as we go and stick around, because by the end you will know exactly which domain to worry about and how to get 150 more exam questions like these. First question, under a risk-tiered regulatory framework like the EU AI Act, which factor most determines the compliance obligations applicable to an AI system? A, the programming language used to build it. B, the system's assessed risk classification. C, the size of the development team. D, the system's marketing name. The answer is B. Risk-tiered frameworks like the EU AI Act scale obligations based on the system's assessed risk classification, not the tech stack, not the team size. This is Domain 1 territory, and it's exactly the kind of framework knowledge question you'll see a lot of. Question 2. An organization deploys an AI model without first completing a risk assessment. What is the most significant audit concern? A. The model may be too slow. B. Unidentified risks may go untreated, increasing exposure to harm or noncompliance. C. The model's user interface may be unattractive. D. The deployment may take longer than expected. The answer is B. This one's designed to filter out the obviously wrong answers. But the real skill AAIA tests is picking the best answer among plausible-sounding ones, not just eliminating the silly ones. That distinction trips people up more than you'd think. Now we're moving into Domain 2, AI operations. This is the domain that carries the most weight on the real exam, 46%. Nearly half your score comes from this one domain, so pay attention here. Question 3. Which vulnerability is most associated with large language models responding to manipulated user prompts to bypass intended restrictions? A. Prompt injection. B. SQL injection only. C. Buffer overflow. D. Denial of service. The answer is A. Prompt injection. If you got this one, good. But this is honestly one of the easier Domain 2 questions in the bank. It gets a lot harder from here. Quick note, if you're already feeling the gap between I know general AI terms and I could actually pass this exam, that's exactly the gap. The full 150-question bank is built to close. Links in the description. Let's keep going. Question 4. Which of the following is an example of a data poisoning attack? A. Overloading a system with excessive traffic. B. Deliberately injecting corrupted or malicious data into a model's training set to manipulate its behavior. C. Guessing a user's password. D. Physically damaging a server. The answer is B. Data poisoning shows up constantly on this exam because it sits right at the intersection of AI operations and audit evidence. You need to know what it is and how an auditor would detect it. Okay, this next one is genuinely one of the harder questions in the whole bank, and human oversight-related scenario is very important to know for the exam. Take your time. Question 5. An organization deploys an AI system that makes automated decisions with no override mechanism for humans. What is the primary risk? A. Faster decision-making with no downside. B. Inability to correct or halt erroneous or harmful automated decisions. C. Improved consistency of decisions. D. Reduced staffing needs. The answer is B. Here's why this one's tricky. A, C, and D all sound like benefits, not risks, which is exactly the trap. AIA loves testing whether you can spot when a benefit framing is hiding a real control gap. If you got this wrong, that's not a knowledge gap. That's an exam pattern gap, and that's very fixable with more reps. This is actually one of the ones people miss most in the full practice bank, and that's exactly the kind of thing that shows up the second you look at your domain breakdown. Question 6. An organization retrains and redeploys an AI model without following a formal change management process. What is the primary risk? A. Faster updates with no downside. B. Unvalidated or unauthorized changes introducing new risk or degraded performance. C. Reduced computing costs. D. Improved model accuracy automatically. The answer is B. Same pattern as the last one. Notice how often the wrong answers are dressed up as positives. Once you see this pattern, you'll start catching it everywhere on the real exam. Question 7. An AI model begins producing significantly biased outputs in production. What is the first step the organization's incident response process should support? A. Ignoring the issue until the next scheduled review. B. Rapid detection, escalation, and containment of the issue. C. Publicly announcing the issue immediately before investigation. D. Deleting all model logs. The answer is B. That's 6 Domain 2 questions in a row, on purpose. Nearly half the real exam lives here, and if you're only casually familiar with AI operations concepts, this is where points quietly slip away. Last domain, AI auditing tools and techniques. Smaller weight, 21%, but still enough to matter. Question 8. Which sampling approach is most appropriate when an auditor wants to specifically examine AI decisions flagged as high risk or anomalous? A. Simple random sampling. B. Judgmental, targeted sampling, focused on high-risk items. C. Sampling only the first 10 records chronologically. D. No sampling. Testing is unnecessary for flagged items. The answer is B. This is classic audit methodology, just applied to AI. If your audit background is strong, Domain 3 should feel like the most familiar territory. Question 9. An organization requests that an AI audit report omit a significant finding to avoid concerning the board. What is the most appropriate auditor response? A. Comply with the request to maintain the relationship. B. Decline the request and report all significant findings per professional audit standards. C. Report the finding only if legally required. D. Delay the report indefinitely. The answer is B. Auditor independence questions like this show up in some form on basically every ISACA exam. If you've sat CISA before, this pattern will feel familiar. Question 10 and the last question. An organization discovers duplicate and inconsistent records in the dataset used to train a production AI model. What is the most likely consequence? A. Improved model accuracy. B. Degraded model performance and potentially biased or unreliable outputs. C. No impact, since AI models correct for data issues automatically. D. Faster model training only. The answer is B, and that's 10. Comment your score right now before I tell you what it means. Here's how to read your score. 8 to 10 correct. You've got a strong foundation. You're probably in decent shape for Domain 1 and 3, but that's only 10 questions out of the 90 you'll see on exam day, spread very differently across domains than we just did. If you missed 2 or more of the Domain 2 questions, the prompt injection, data poisoning, supervision, change management, incident response, or data management ones, that's the signal to pay attention to. Domain 2 is 46% of your real exam. Missing that proportion of Domain 2 questions on a full 90-question exam is the difference between passing and not. Want these 10 free questions with answer explanation in our test bank? Leave us in comment, when is your target exam date or month and your score. We will send it to you for free. Interested in 150 more questions like these, same style, weighted the same 33-46-21 split as the real exam, to be fully prepared for your test? Click the link in the description and pinned in the comment. If this video helped you, please consider like and subscribe to our channel for our weekly update on AAIA, AAIR, and AAISM exams and certifications. Thanks for watching, and good luck on your exam.